it's like your natural feeling, right? You
Yes.
feel because it's not just about you. It is about your kids, obviously, first and foremost, but it's also about you. Oh my God, you just got replaced.
Yes.
And she's pretty. That
Yes.
sucks, you
Or
know?
if she's
Like,
funny and they're like, "Oh my god, Brit did that." You're like, "Okay, anyway, like,
right?
that's enough about
She's
Brit."
so
Yes.
great. The
Yes.
one thing that I would really encourage you is like, first of all, I think you should talk about it with your ex. Like, these are all things like I didn't talk about with mine, and it was rough. So, this is now looking retrospectively of like
Yeah.
what I truly believe is in your best interest to get to that place. Like, if you're communicating with your ex on any level,
We are.
communicate.
Yeah.
If he's coming over and he's willing to sit in the living room and you guys truly are okay with the situation and the way things are, start talking about this and let him know, look, I'm just letting you know. I understand you're going to move on. I understand you're going to date. I see that we're co-parenting well. We feel like a unit co-parenting. I'm not telling you you have to include me in any of that. But first of all, I do think that it is important for prior to introducing that person in your life to the children, I do think that it's fair and helpful to first introduce that person to the ex.
I
Either way, if you start dating a man, I do believe, and you know who I learned that from and did that and modeled that from? It was Travis.
Travis. Yeah.
Travis wouldn't meet my kids until he met Matt. And
Travis
I
is
was
just
like, "What? Yes.
wonderful.
He's he's a very good man. He really is." And like that helped. That helped. And so I do think like if you can just get on the same page and talk about that, and you have to tell your ex, look, you have to be vulnerable. You really do. You have to
Mm.
tell him, I I want if there's someone in your life and you truly love them and you think they're gonna be good to our kids, right? I'm telling you right now, I want to welcome them in. I want to be graceful. I want it to work. I would appreciate if you guys could establish some feeling where if you could agree to meeting you before the kids, that will immediately make you feel safer and
Yeah.
more in control. If you can get that person to understand you're going to do the same thing so that your priority is still the children, it will make you feel less defensive. It'll make you feel included. You will feel part of the process. It'll make your children feel a hell of a lot more comfortable about then meeting this person, having a relationship with this person, because you not only have to get yourself comfortable with it, but you have to show your children that it's okay to love that
Yes.
other step parent or whatever. You have to. Why would you take that from them?
I know.
But it's going to make it easier for you if you first establish a relationship, you vet the person, and you determine that it's okay.
Yes.
And I think that that would all be very good and very important. And then I think that you can tell your ex that I'm going to try my best, but I just want you to know this is hard for me because my own feelings, I would love it to just be about the kids, but we were married for a long time and my own feelings here are involved too. And I'm telling you, I don't want to be jealous. I don't want to feel replaced. I don't want to feel hurt by this. And I'm going to try my very best not to let those things out of respect for you, whatever relationship you're going to be in, and for our kids. Like, I just think you got to put it out there and you have to be vulnerable
Yeah.
because that's what relationships are. And this is the most important relationship in your life, regardless of anybody else that you meet. Like now, my two most important relationships are with my partner because he is a huge part of my life and my kids' life, and my ex-partner.
Yeah.
He's the father of the children. It can be good, but like you have to be willing to be open and vulnerable. That I truly believe it. Britt was great. She took it. She came from divorced parents. I actually think that
Mm.
helped a lot because she dealt
Okay.
with a lot of bullshit growing up and she did not want that.
Yeah.
And was very vocal about that. And that helped a lot. Like, because my parents are so in love, it's gross. They remind me of Heather and Terry to Bro. They're very like handsy. And you could tell they really love each other.
Yeah.
And so like I don't have any of this experience, and my ex's parents too are married, so like we don't know that.
Same.
But like divorce is 50%. I have 3 kids, someone's getting divorced, and I hope that my modeled
Yeah.
behavior with their father and the way that we co-parent and with our the step parents, I hope that now they have a good guide, because you can't forget everything you do is just the model. It's the map for what your kids are going to do or they're going to run from. And either one of
100%.
those scenarios is, you know, like, I don't want, who wants to be the parents that are like the kid? Because the one kid will be, they'll replay it. They'll do the same exact bullshit that you did. The other kid will be more resilient. They'll
Yeah.
go as far away from it as possible. But now they're just out there telling people, yeah, my parents sucked. I'm
Yeah.
doing everything I can not to be like them. That sucks too, you know? So it's like, be the one where it's like, yeah, my parents got divorced and they did that's like, look, my life is very public. I am very scared about what my children will read and hear, and the fact that I can't hide our skeletons. Our skeletons are coming out. So the only thing that I can do is give them this narrative of, holy shit, you guys went through what? And we never knew about it. And you
Yeah.
guys found this place and you got here. And even in the worst of it, mom, you were able to defend yourself. And dad, you took responsibility. And you guys moved through that. And we didn't even know. And your friends and you're a unit.
Yes.
To me, that's more powerful. And that's where we are. And that's where we live and exist. And that is, there's power in that. And it eliminates any now, you know, I mean, they're going to have questions and they're going to feel the way they feel, but at least I know we did the best we could to rewrite that narrative and get to where we are now. And that's all they know. I think they're going to be
Yeah.
impressed at it. I think they're going to be proud of us.
Yes. 100%. Gina, I think you should add therapist, or you should have some, I know you have a podcast, but like you have treaded the waters and you have such gems to share, and you were so good at explaining
Mm.
this. And I feel inspired. Just if you want to throw something else on your plate, you are so articulate and profound about your advice for co-parenting and marriage. And I just feel like there's something there. I want to talk about sobriety. In my 16 days of sobriety, I have learned.
Woo!
So my initial hesitance with trying to moderate, even, well, actually, I have to be honest. I know how you feel about moderation. It's just it's hard for some people. It was not hard for me. I can
Okay.
easily moderate. My thing was I was addicted to moderate drinking. I couldn't not have a glass of wine or a beer every day with my meals, or I felt deprived. Like restriction, having an eating disorder background, I can't say it's off limits. Like it just makes me want it more. So I would just say, no, I can't. My sisters would do like a dry January and I'd be like 30 days, like off limits. I can't have that. I have to be able to say I can have it. And I could never go a day literally without drinking, but it was like a drink. But if I didn't have a glass of wine, I felt deprived. So I don't know what I did differently. I've been praying about it, but this time, starting January 1st, it was easier. Like I did it. I said, I'm going to commit to 30 days. I've got 2 more weeks. And then I'm going to do like a solo episode about how that went, because I've never done it before. But do you feel like, first of all, for you with the DUI, was that like, I have to stop drinking? That was obviously like a rock bottom moment. And had you not had that, do you think it would have been like business as usual? Not that you were an alcoholic, but did that force you to look at it? And then also, how long did you get to a point where it was not a part of your life? Was it hard? Did you feel deprived?
Okay. So first of all, the DUI for me has been now over like almost 5 years
5 years.
ago,
Yeah.
right? So it's been a long time. I did not stop drinking after my DUI. In fact, I think I
Okay.
drank more after my
Wow.
DUI because I was fucking depressed and I felt like a loser. You know what I mean? And it was all so much and so heavy and I was sad.
I get
And
it.
and it was hard, you know. And then I think I kind of found a little bit of balance, but also the show and then COVID and then it just gets so normalized. I it got to a point where I wasn't in control of it. It was in control
Okay.
of me. I was drinking every day. It was very difficult to be like do one day without drinking. To
Yeah.
me, I'm not an alcoholic, but it's a problem. I believe there's two different types of people. I think this is my belief. So this is not medical advice. This is not based on any I didn't do a study. This is
Yeah.
just what I feel in my heart, right? I
Mhm.
feel I really have a lot of respect for the disease of alcoholism, right? And I think there's two categories of people. People who really have a disease of alcoholism, I believe, even if they're sober for 20 years, every fucking day is a struggle. They are
Yeah.
actively fighting this disease. I have so much respect for that
Yeah.
because I can't even imagine what that is like because I'm now over 2 years without drinking. And I don't even fucking think about it. I don't miss it
Wow.
because I'm not an alcoholic, but here's the surprise, turns out alcohol is an addictive substance and you
Yeah.
get addicted to it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So don't blame yourself that the job of this addictive substance is doing its job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yes.
first and you have to break that and that is a very hard thing to break. I don't care and it's just like anything. Think about it. If you go through a hard time and you go on an antidepressant, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm not a drug addict. I don't need to be on this all the time. I'm not upping it. I'm not now taking 3 a day. I'm taking my steady thing. But now I don't think I need that anymore. Time to wean off. It's hard to wean off of that, right?
How long
Because
did it
it's
take you?
addictive.
Like when
The
you
alcohol,
yeah, like the habit
I'll
of just like
say
everyday drinking. And was it like a couple weeks where you were like, okay, I don't even think
the
about it? Or like,
no, it was a while. I'll say
okay,
we started
thank you.
filming last season. No, it's a while. Because
Okay.
it takes a while to kick out of your system. I'm gonna say honestly, when we started filming last season, I was about the 6 month mark. And you see, I was
You
on a
looked
fucking
incredible. That was 6
I
months of
looked
not drinking?
incredible. I
Okay.
looked incredible, but I was still on that roller coaster. I didn't feel at 6 months like I was like, it wasn't like hard to be out with the ladies drinking at that point, but mentally, something's still fucking not right. I will be honest. And it's hard to even explain. And I think people who are in their sobriety and people who maybe who are watching this, who are in that 6 month mark, I think
Yeah.
they can speak to this. It's like, and if you're not a true alcoholic or you don't identify as that, it's not at 6 months, it's you feel sort of like past the hump of like, I have to have a drink and all of that. That's where there is this shift, but you're still fucked up mentally and you still don't know how to deal with emotional things that come up and just everything that comes up without alcohol because that's been your go-to crutch for so long, right? So there's still work to be done there. I feel at about a year you start to really uh just even get to know yourself more and start to really feel like you can exist in your own skin and you just start to settle in and it
Okay.
feels good. It does feel good, but it's not 16 days.
No, it's
Aaron,
not.
everybody's a different person. You're
I
a
know.
control person. You
Yes.
clearly you need to control your eating. You need to control what goes in and you need to control what goes out.
And I need to control
That
what
is
goes
a
in my son's lunchbox.
you need to
Yeah,
control what goes into your son's lunchbox. You
I
need to
gotcha.
control how your co-parent is
Yes.
co-parenting. You need to now control you're not binge drinking or like obsessively drinking because you need to control that. You need to tell
Yeah,
yourself,
true.
I'm not a binge drinker. I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a one
I'm
and
a
then I'm going to
moderate
say
drinker.
no more
Yeah.
because I'm not and maybe it's a I'm going to do this because the calories whatever it is, you're all about control.
That is so interesting that you said that because I haven't lost weight because I have replaced I'm a big IPA girl and with my meals I want an IPA. But those are probably like a couple hundred calories. So I'm like not drinking those, you would lose weight. I drink non-alcoholic IPAs because I feel like something is missing and I feel deprived from my meals if I don't. So I'm still getting the calories, just not the alcohol, but it's one thing at
That's
a time
okay
right now.
though. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
It is what it
okay.
is.
That's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, you can only do what you can do and if that's something
exactly.
that's going to support your sobriety or the shift that you want. And it's look, it is what it is. If somebody drinks and they don't want to stop drinking and they're okay drinking and they're not out of control, these are social drugs, right? So like
Yeah.
I still I like I will take a gummy, like pot, they're
Yes.
social drugs. And if
Yes.
you can you just have to find the right drug for you, right? If you can find something that you're in control of and isn't in control of you, and you can like go out and have a little fun and have a little laugh and
Yeah.
then go home and you're not like regretting what you did or not remembering or feeling like crap or really it starts to take a toll on your body obviously the alcohol it's
Yes.
bad for you if you're not doing any of those things fuck yeah like have fun go do what you want but if it's really becoming a problem for you and if you're that person at home that's like I know you moms at home that are like every day you're like I'm not going to drink tomorrow I'm not going to drink tomorrow
Yes.
because you know it's a problem,
That's what
but
it
you
is.
don't know how to stop. You
Eh
know why you don't know how to stop? Because you're addicted, because it's an addictive substance.
yes,
Like
and
it's
you
just as simple as that. Don't feel less than, don't feel guilty, don't feel like it's stronger than me, don't feel like shameful. If you want to stop, stop. One of your biggest things right now is that you're talking about it. Because once you talk about it, you got to
You have to be
have some follow
accountable.
through. It's
Yeah.
accountability right there, right? The show
Uh,
is accountability for me.
Totally. That's what I was talking to Jackie, New Jersey, about her anorexia. I was like, you said it on camera. I'm going to recover from anorexia. She's like, I had to, because then the
Right.
world would hold me accountable. And not that you need the world to hold you accountable, but it makes it that
No, but
much.
you need your world to hold you accountable. So
Yes.
I would say the first thing that you could do if you truly have identified that this is something in your life that you don't like, not anybody else, right? Because you're not going to get there. I mean, we see it on the show. We tell other people, you're an alcoholic, until
Yes.
you get yourself there where you're like, I really want to not do this anymore. I don't like it. I don't like who it makes me. I don't feel like myself. Once you get there, tell your world. Tell your friends, I don't like this, I'm struggling with this. Have them help you hold you accountable, right? And that will help you. And that's like admitting, again, it's just about, to me, I think, like, who is that person? Renee Brown, the vulnerability thing. She's right. You know what I mean? If you make yourself vulnerable, you will be surprised to see how many people are actually in your corner and respond in a supportive manner to that. Like, it just is what it is. Like, you have to be able to open yourself up to get help and support and all of that. And like for you, I mean, one of the best things I think you could do for yourself is concentrate on like the positive shifts that you want to make. I think that's probably why you're successful. 16 days, if you haven't been able to do it before, whether you
Mm-mm.
struggle from bulimia, anorexia, all of these things, that's a fucking huge win for you, Erin.
Thank
That's a
you.
big deal. That's a big fucking deal. Say to
One,
yourself, you
then
can
I'm
have
back
a
at
drink.
0. And that I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess up the days, but like I want to not want it. And I read This Naked Mind, Annie Grace, and I had her on, and she's like, it retrains your brain to not want it. And I listened to it twice, Gina, on audio, and I'm like, that didn't happen for me. Like, I still see it as desirable. That's why I was like, I love that you said it's not 16 days to get to a point where you
No,
don't want it. It's just
no. No,
okay.
it's gonna take way longer. And let's say, Erin, in 20 days, you're like, fuck it, and you have a drink, you're not
Just
starting over. That is part of your journey towards whatever it is you want the goal line to be. You're
Gina.
not starting over. Who fucking says we have to start over? Da, 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 da. You're not in
True.
AA. They're
Well,
not
then I
handing
don't
you
have
a
30
chip.
days anymore. I would have to say, yeah, I'm not
Why
in AA.
not? Why
I,
not? Did you drink those 30 days? No,
well,
you have those 30 days. It's part of a bigger journey.
yes, I have to. I almost thought about that, like just having a beer to be like, it's over. The stress is off. And then not
Well,
even,
yeah. Every day you're like, I'm not going to drink tomorrow. I'm not going to drink tomorrow
yes,
because you know it's a problem,
that's what
but
it
you
is.
don't know how to stop. You know why you don't know how to stop? Because you're addicted, because it's an addictive substance.
Yes.
Like,
Well,
it's just as simple as that. Don't feel less than, don't feel guilty, don't feel like it's stronger than me, don't feel like shameful. If you want to stop, stop. One of your biggest things right now is that you're talking about it. Because once you talk about it, you got to
you have to be
have some follow
accountable.
through. It's
Yeah.
accountability right there, right? The show
Uh,
is accountability for me.
Totally. That's what I was talking to Jackie, New Jersey, about her anorexia. I was like, you said it on camera. I'm going to recover from anorexia. She's like, I had to, because then the
Right.
world would hold me accountable. And not that you need the world to hold you accountable, but it makes it that
No, but
much.
you need your world to hold you accountable. So
Yes.
I would say the first thing that you could do if you truly have identified that this is something in your life that you don't like, not anybody else, right? Because you're not going to get there. I mean, we see it on the show. We tell other people, you're an alcoholic, until
Yes.
you get yourself there where you're like, I really want to not do this anymore. I don't like it. I don't like who it makes me. I don't feel like myself. Once you get there, tell your world. Tell your friends, I don't like this, I'm struggling with this. Have them help you hold you accountable, right? And that will help you. And that's like admitting, again, it's just about, to me, I think, like, who is that person? Renee Brown, the vulnerability thing. She's right. You know what I mean? If you make yourself vulnerable, you will be surprised to see how many people are actually in your corner and respond in a supportive manner to that. Like, it just is what it is. Like, you have to be able to open yourself up to get help and support and all of that. And like for you, I mean, one of the best things I think you could do for yourself is concentrate on like the positive shifts that you want to make. I think that's probably why you're successful. 16 days, if you haven't been able to do it before, whether you
Mm-mm.
struggle from bulimia, anorexia, all of these things, that's a fucking huge win for you, Erin.
Thank
That's a
you.
big deal. That's a big fucking deal.
Thank you.
Don't minimize it.
Have you heard of the gap and the gain? Like living in the gap or the gain? It's like when you live in the
Mm-mm.
gap, it's like you made it, you haven't drank for 16 days. Like, wow, it's only 16 days. But if you live in the gain and what you've gained, it's like you've never gone 16 days. So looking at it as a gain instead of the gap, it's like it's not a big deal. It's not even 30 days. But I'll be honest, Gina, like I'm wondering like what's gonna happen at the end of I've committed to January just to like see how I feel. I know I'm going to feel great. There's nothing better than waking up every morning and feeling just not that I was waking up hungover at all, but just a little off or just feel so great every morning. And there's nothing worth that. But I still see myself like getting to the point, like if I were to start dating, like go and have a glass of wine and not an everyday thing, but like
Mm-hmm.
that's where I see it now. And I don't know. But then it's like my other part of my mind is like, why would you drink again when you get it out of your system? Why do I still see it as like a
Why? I just think
pleasurable
you're getting
thing?
ahead of yourself. Well, because it is a pleasurable thing. It's fun, and it's like it's a drug. It's a drug. It feels
Yeah.
good. It feels good, and also like the social norms. It is hard to think about. You're divorced. You're going into dating. You're worrying about, is it
Yes.
weird if I'm dating? And honestly, like I get that for you because I haven't had to deal with that because I stopped drinking when I was already with my partner, who was very supportive of me
And
stopping
he
drinking.
drinks and he's not
So
making you feel
yes,
like
but he was so supportive. We got all of the alcohol out of the house when I first stopped drinking. Because if the alcohol is home, I drink it.
100%. I had to do that too. And then I had to
Yeah.
drink it knowing January 1st was going to start. I was like, I don't want to waste it. So I would drink and know that there was nothing I could get except my non-alcoholic
Yeah.
IPAs, or I will drink it if it's there. Like
Right. So you're setting yourself up for success. Why not just live in that gain, that success for a little bit? You don't have a date. You don't have to worry
no,
about
I
that. That's
know.
not a worry. So why are you worrying about something
I
that's not
don't,
even a
because
worry
a
right now?
weirdo. I know.
So if I was you, I would focus on this. Even if you drink later or you don't drink later, that's later. To me, because you're so controlled, why don't you look at this as, wow, what a healthy exercise in Erin letting go.
Yeah.
To you, even though you are now not drinking, for you, it is an interesting little exercise in letting go of the control because you had to micromanage the way you drank. And then that created like this sense of like security, I guess, and you were feeling good, right? Because you
Yes.
were controlling that.
Look at me only
Now,
drinking one or two. Yes. That was
yeah,
my
but now
controlling it.
you've let go. Yeah, you've let go. You've gone 16 days without drinking and without controlling something that you thought you had to.
Yeah.
Just be able to feel successful about that, like feel good about that. And
Thank you.
wherever it goes later, I mean, even if you go right back into it, that like who like there's gonna be this. That's life, right? And that's not, don't worry that then that's a failure. It's not. You still had 16 days of, even if you drank tonight, which don't, but
I won't.
you had 16 days. You could do it again. Maybe the next time you do it longer. Maybe that's how you have to get comfortable with this idea since you have a harder time letting go of things. I think that if you take the stress off of it, it allows you to go further. For me, not identifying as an alcoholic and telling myself even now, I literally, because I believe this, I could have a drink anytime I want. I'd be fucking
Mhm.
fine.
I know.
Allowing myself that mindset of I can have it if I want it, I just don't want it, makes me feel in control. And then it
How did
makes me
I
not have
want
to
it
do it.
still? I want to not want it, but I also don't want to like fuck up the date. Like I could see when I get to
Well, then say
31,
yourself, you
then
can
I'm
have
back
a
at
drink.
0. And that I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess up the days, but like I want to not want it. And I read This Naked Mind, Annie Grace, and I had her on, and she's like, it retrains your brain to not want it. And I listened to it twice, Gina, on audio, and I'm like, that didn't happen for me. Like I still see it as desirable. That's why I was like, I love that you said it's not 16 days to get to a point where you
No,
don't want it. It's just
no, no,
okay.
it's going to take way longer. And let's say, Aaron, in 20 days, you're like, fuck it, and you have a drink, you're not
Just
starting over. That is part of your journey towards whatever it is you want the goal line to be. You're
Gina.
not starting over. Who fucking says we have to start over? Da, 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 da. You're not in
True.
AA. They're
Well,
not
then I
handing
don't
you a
have 30
chip.
days anymore. I would have to say, yeah, I'm not
Why
in AA.
not? Why
I
not? Did you drink those 30 days? No.
well,
You have those 30 days. It's part of a bigger journey.
yes, I have to. I almost thought about that, like just having a beer to be like, it's over. The stress is off. And then not
Well,
even,
yeah.
you know what I
I'll
mean?
tell you something too. I don't know if I've shared this. I probably have, but I did test the waters. So I stopped
Oh,
drinking. I want to say November 2 years ago. Maybe it was November, December, somewhere around there. And I don't have like a day. I don't remember. I just said enough, and actually it was getting to the point where too, it was like all the toxicity and the shit that I went through with my ex when you drank. It's like I always say it like this, like you go through trauma and you get to a place where you file the things away in your head in these neat little files, right? And then you drink alcohol and it confuses you and it's like all the papers start flying out of the files and
yes.
everything is just chaos. And now like shit that I was the trauma that I went through with my ex, now I'm putting that on Travis. I'm fighting
Yeah.
with him. I
Yeah.
make no fucking sense. I don't want that. I'm now gonna put at risk my relationship and everything that like I have that's good in my life. Now I'm gonna throw it away for what? A bottle of wine? Like I don't need this crap in my life. It was getting in my way. It wasn't serving me well, right? So you have to look at that, I think, and identify that like why you are. But then so then I stopped drinking and then I didn't drink for until January and I had to go on Watch What Happens Live. And I was like,
Mm,
how do you not drink? I feel stupid in
I
front of
saw that. I watched it.
Andy,
Yeah.
whatever, right? So that January I did drink. I was
Mhm.
like, let me see. I think I could do this. It was like maybe 2 months, right? But
Wait,
I'm
real
gonna
quick. Like
see.
you had a drink or like when you said you did, like what?
Well, I had a drink before because I also, it's nerve wracking. I watch Travis live and I never did it
Totally.
sober. I never did it
Yes.
sober. So Travis was actually like, I think you should just have a drink, right? And having a partner that kind of released me of that, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, now I feel okay. So I had the drink prior. I had the drink on the thing. I remember while we were doing it, I might have taken like a sip or whatever, got through it. And then I ended up going out with Trav and my makeup artist in New York. And, I got sloshed. I got sloshed. And the next morning, I woke up and I was like, I am done.
Never
Like,
again.
this is
Right.
not for me. Never again. I never put the pressure of the days and clearly, I don't even know what day I stopped drinking. I never put that pressure on me. And I just allowed it to be what it is, which is I don't know what the fuck this is, but I'm trying my best. I'm in it. I know it's a problem. I'm starting to share that. I'm acknowledging it. I'm talking about it. I want to change, and I am changing. And
Mhm.
you are changing,
Yeah.
and if in 20 days from now you're like, well, but I still feel like I could be that person and da 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 da, and then you drink and you feel like, wait, now I've slipped right back into a pattern that I know I've already acknowledged I don't like. Fine, just start over, just do it
Yeah.
again. And who fucking cares? 6 years from now, you're not gonna be like, but those 30 days I lost and
Yes,
did
I
it,
will.
like you might, but you're working on not like letting go of
I
being part of
know.
that. If I was you, Erin, this year, I would just focus more on what seems to be your really biggest issue and roadblock in your own life, which is this need to be in control of things.
Mhm.
And that
Makes sense.
spills out into probably every area of your life. And if I was you, and don't expect to move the needle, you can't control this either.
I
Just
know.
just do the best you can. Move it a little and feel good about that. Allow yourself to feel good about that. Feel good about your 16 days.
Thank you. You are a therapist. Seriously. You are so good at this. Like, oh, is that also on the in all your job?
No, but I'm very passionate about the co-parenting. In my free time, I try to write down, the things that I feel and I think could help people. And who knows, maybe one day I would love to write like a co-parenting book or something like that.
Yes.
But
You should.
it's, another thing that eventually maybe I'll get to. But I really do I feel confident about this and I just enjoy helping people. That is like honestly has been like a very big blessing of all of this has been able to just like see that I can positively affect people. And I think that it's one of the things I'm most proud of is being relatable on the show, because if people see
Mhm.
that you are just like a regular ass mom, but like you've gone through some shit, like then you really can impact and help people. And that honestly, like it feels really good. So if I can
Yes.
contribute that, it makes me happy.
You have impacted and inspired my sobriety journey. Like when you were in your confessionals, like seeing you and just you're glowing and you're like, I stopped drinking. And then I would like watch every scene. Like Emily would get like a third drink or something. And you would just be like, like, I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, how does that feel? Like you spark something in me. Like you should know that. And I'm glad that I got to
Aw.
unpack it with you.
I
I
have
just had
coming
a
up as
couple
well.
quick things to put out into the universe. You get cast on Ultimate Girls Trip. Who are the other people you
Oh
want to
my
go with?
gosh.
If
Oh
you could choose,
God. Oh, from other franchises,
yeah,
because
because don't
I'd
you get
want to take Emily, but
which obviously you and Emily are cast, and then you get to go with anybody.
okay.
Who would you want to go on vacation with?
I love Melissa Gorga, so
Yeah.
I would go with Gorga. Definitely Gorga. I would go with I like Giselle, I love. Maybe throw in Elisa Barlow.
Oh.
And I let me think. Oh, Luann. I love Luann.
The Countess.
The
Yes, that is
Countess. Yeah.
I like that squad.
Yeah.
Travis wakes you up and says, "You have nothing on your plate today. I have the kids. How do you spend your day?"
Like literally right here on this spot of the couch. I'm
You
not
do
even
Squats and
joking.
Margaritas podcast. Okay.
Exactly. Yes. Like
You
I would just
relax.
be posted up. Yeah. I'm a homebody.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on the reality reckoning, Bethany's whole thing? Do you think it's valid? Do you think there should be a union? Or are you kind of like,
I think that there needs to be changes for sure. Like there's just like anything though, and
yeah,
but I also do think that there's a way to, I believe truly you catch more flies with honey,
yeah,
and I think that what has happened here, honestly, I have a strong suspicion that it's going to do more harm than good for the reality players here, because I think you basically just you came in, you showed all the chinks in the armor, and they're gonna sew up all those holes real quick,
yeah. I could
and
have
no,
gone
and it
about it a
really,
different way.
yeah, because
Yeah.
now it's kind of stalled and we've just kind of been more exposed to the things that potentially could be avenues of, getting to that next place of like fixing some of these problems. And I'm pretty sure that like if I was the network exec, I'd be like, okay, amendment, amendment, amendment,
Yeah,
sew up that hole, So
totally.
I understand that I do feel she really was well intentioned. Her intentions were good there, but I don't know how effective it was.
Okay. Um, Alexis Bellino and John Jansen. What in the actual fuck? What in the
What
actual?
in the actual fuck?
It's real?
I As far as I know, yes. I mean, I'm only seeing what you guys are seeing too, though. Like, I see that she posted It's Real Love. And as far as I know, they met organically, at least at first. I don't know if maybe then they were like, obviously see the value in it, but it is a real relationship. Like, they are
I mean,
boyfriend, girlfriend.
and is
Like,
she coming
so
on the show? Do we know this?
I couldn't
Okay.
say that for sure or not, because I
Okay.
truly just, I don't know until she's sitting at a table with me.
That's
So
what when you
until
said Kelly
then,
Dodd walked in, and I was like, "Did you really not know she was going to walk in until you don't know who's on it until they manifest in the room?"
well, like I knew she was on it, like, because I knew she was part of the cast, but like, because she had been on it for like a couple years at that point. But like when I showed up to that gym, I didn't know who else was coming
Yeah.
there. And then once you're on it, like, now I've been on it for a while, like when you're on this side of it, you kind of know more. But even so, like if there's new cast coming, they really truly try to make it as organic as possible. And I'm not a researcher. I'm not going to dig up dirt
Yeah.
on anyone. Like, it's just not my thing. So Emily gets so frustrated with me because I'm always like, wait, you have to explain, wait, what is actually going on with this person into that? Because I never know, but
You have a little on your
um
plate.
yeah, and I just don't care enough. I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'll form the relationship with you, and I don't, it's just not my style.
Okay. What is happening with the La Quinta house?
Oh, well, I need
What?
to sell it. It's so the La Quinta house truly is like a retreat. It is, and it is incredible. So
Yes.
I just say, and now we're going into festival season. So now is like the hot time. We're getting a
Okay.
lot of traction, and I'm hoping obviously that a buyer, the buyer comes through. It's such
Okay.
a unique property, and honestly, like a lot. I don't know if you're familiar, but like a lot of La Quinta is very unique. So it's going to take the right person to walk through the door, and we're just
Yeah.
hopeful that that person walks through soon.
It's Kardashian adjacent, I believe.
It's Kardashian adjacent. It is.
Maybe
Yes.
that
They're
will
down
bring
the
you
block, right? Yeah. I'll
um
throw anything out there.
whatever it takes. So still on
Yeah.
the market. I
Yes.
love your podcast. Shane
Thank
McAnally cracks me to
you.
hell up. It's so good. Do you want to just like plug that, what you guys talk about and where people can find it?
Yeah, so Orange Country, myself and Shane McAnally, my co-host, we talk about everything and anything from parenting, co-parenting, sobriety, celebrity gossip, just and just like weird stuff too. Like we had that episode on Terramation. Like it's just a cool, fun ride. It is not
Yes.
a little housewife, but not housewife heavy, which
Mm-mm.
is fun and it's nice for me. We just wrapped our first season. It was actually successful, thankfully. And
So
so it's
good.
allowed us to go into our second season, which we're going to start, recording soon. And you could find it everywhere that you can find podcasts. So, YouTube, Spotify, follow us and like us. We're on TikTok and Instagram. Um, Orange Country is the handle at Orange Country. And please subscribe.
Yes, it's so good. And then anywhere else people can find you if they don't follow Housewives and they just want a little bit of therapy and life advice that you are so good at providing, where can people find you?
Thank you, Erin. All of my social platforms are at Gina Kirschenheiter. I tried to, keep it really simple since my last name is so easy to spell. So,
So easy to pronounce. Yes. You
right, all
are
of it.
fabulous. I could not have asked for more out of this interview in this hour and a half that I've gotten from you. Probably going to make it a two-parter. I'm so glad it finally happened, and I
Aw.
cannot wait to watch you on the show. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Erin. Feel good. Keep it going, girl. Okay.